Good afternoon and welcome back to the channel. Yes, we are down at United Downs and we're heading towards the tailings where we're going to go and fly the drone. So I hope you're all good. Hope you've enjoyed the videos that we've produced of late. And of course this is KERNOW EXP and we are at United Downs. Yes, so bit of a walking video, and then there will be a drone video at the end again. So I do hope you enjoy, and if you're new, welcome to the channel. What you can expect to see from us is walking videos, exploring abandoned places, drone flights, paranormal investigations, boat adventures and mine exploring. We are urban explorers and we are fairly well recognised as such. So yeah, anyway, let's carry on our walk down through the woods. Enjoy your ride. So this is very popular for mountain bikers down here, folks. It's a lot of excuse me, stunts and jumps and things like that. So if you're into biking, mountain biking that is, not road biking, then come down, because it's a very nice spot for that, and it's quite well recognised as such, you know. Of course this is a historical place, and that's another thing that we're about. We're about documenting Cornwall's history, whether it's from the mining to fishing and to military, possible World War II places and Cold War. We are there, folks. This is something that we are very, very passionate about, Cornish history. And we do work with other YouTubers such as Two Wheel Exploration. Adam, he is a member of our crew, and he will be joining us at some stage. Obviously life gets in the way sometimes, folks. You can't always work with people that you would like to all the time. Like Adam, I'd love to work with him every day really, but because of life and work commitments it's not always possible. But he is going to be joining us at some stage, which will be rather nice. And oh, I never noticed that before. And rusty old sign. That's interesting, isn't it? Not. Right, okay, so we're heading to the old mines here, and United Mining Corporation Limited was a massive concern back in Victorian times, and surprisingly it was that rich around here. They actually erected a clock tower. We should be able to see it in a moment, the base of it that is, it's still in situ. And excuse me, it was that good. When the mines closed here, they actually took the mechanism and moved it over to St Day, which is, or was, a town at one time, believe it or not. It's a village now, unfortunately, and that's where I've got family connections, because my family lived there for many years, and we still got family there now on my wife's side of their family, so yeah, it's quite good. So yeah, St Day was at one time the richest mine in Cornwall for tin and copper, and the mines around the area reflect that. So you see the chimneys dead ahead of us. Just above the chimneys there's some houses, and that is St Day. And as you can imagine, this whole area here was just a massive activity. Not now, of course, it's just a lot of derelict mines and mining trails which we're utilising today. So the oh, excuse me, I don't know what's wrong with me today. What we're looking at dead ahead now is the clock tower, and that would have rang around to tell the miners what time it is, because timekeeping is such a thing that was really, really highly kept back many years ago. It's not so much these days really. But yeah, that is the clock tower. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk towards it, and then we'll go down to John's engine house and we'll base ourselves there, and we'll get the drone up from there. And then I've got to move on to another position because we want to fly the drone quite a bit today. I've got 2 batteries with me, so it should be all right. We've got to go down into the tailings and fly the drone from down there as well, which will be quite interesting. So there should be quite a bit of drone flying today, hopefully, he says. We'll see. Right. So there's a lot of shafts in that around here, as we can see. There's one just there. There's a few groups that we are associated with that do mine exploring. Obviously we do as well, but rope access is not something that we're prepared to do, I'm afraid. Not really. I don't mind using it on just as a hand line getting down to somewhere, but actually abseiling down, don't think we're up for that, because we're a bit long in the tooth now, me and the crew. Right, so there's the clock tower. I think we'll have a look, actually. It would be rude not to, really, wouldn't it, folks, seeing that it's easy access and all. So we will fly above this in a bit, so you can see inside, and you can see above as well. So what I'm going to do right now is just change the setting a minute to low light. I don't know if I can do that on the go. You guys can see better than me at the minute. So I was looking up. Is that looking up? No. Yeah, it's just a hollow up there. There's the floor up there, folks, which is quite interesting. And yeah, so we are actually inside the clock tower at United Downs, at United Mines in St. Day. This was a massive rich area for tin and copper and the production of such said ores, folks. So yeah, anyway, let's continue our Right, so we've been inside, so let's continue our walk around United Downs. So back in the early 1990s, there was a load of traveller people around here, and they were all encamped around here, and the council had some job to move them on. God blimey, I think it probably took about a couple of years to get rid of them. All the locals were fed up with them all, you know. Yeah. So if you were one of those people, put it in the comments. Do you remember living around United Downs in the 1990s? Because I remember all them people here. There was a lot of locals that were up having their arms about it all. But I just thought, whatever, innit? Everybody's got to live somewhere. Right, so here's the stack at, I think this is John's engine house. So we're going to make our way down to there, I think. If we can do it without falling over. Would be rather good, wouldn't it? Can we actually get down this path here? This little donkey path? No, I think we'll go the longer way, folks. So yeah, so this was a pumping engine house. Me and David have done a paranormal investigation down here before, and we did have responses, but it was very subtle, folks. Very, very subtle. It was like, yeah, there's people there in spirit, but they didn't want to speak to us. You know, and my accent reflects the area because it's where my grandparents lived. So we got a possible cobbled floor there, probably for vanning. Vanning is processing ore. There's a bit there as well. Look. See it there? Cobbled surface. It's quite interesting. Right. So this stack we see there, that is really, really old. Obviously the engine house is fallen down. Now the Americans were based around here during the war, so they might have blew that up, for we know. We don't know. It's highly likely. It cannot be ruled out. But there is a shaft around there which is not capped. Right, so the tailings. The tailings were to do with separating the ore and or clearing the water, because this was active when Wheel Jane was active. Now Wheel Jane is obviously a copper and tin mine not far from where we are. Basically, in layman's terms, it's over in that direction. And this was put in for Wheel Jane for water treatment, basically. And the pipes, which are still here, do reflect that time period. So yeah, quite interesting. This is known as the moon. They call it the moon because it's got like a moon lunar landscape because of all the pollution that is here, basically. There was a incline shaft system that was further up the valley there, which has now been completely capped and filled in, but you could drive vehicles in it at one time into the old Wheel Jane's workings, which later on Wheel Jane was connected to Wheel Jane and Magpie, Mount Wellington, were connected. Now Mount Wellington, as I said, was back there, and Wheel Jane is down that way too. Now, as I was saying, later on Wheel Jane and Mount Wellington were joined together, and they worked in harmony together until Wheel Jane closed. I think that was the late 1980s or something like that, I believe. But yeah, I do remember Wheel Jane actually working, and then 10 years or so after Wheel Jane, South Crofty closed, and South Crofty was the last working tin mine in Cornwall, which, you know. But here we go. This gives you an idea of what is actually below your feet. In a lot of cases, folks, the engine goes and all the surface equipment goes, but nine times out of 10, some of the pump rods and the rising mains are actually just left in the shaft. Now, one of our friends, Benacam, go and check him out. He's actually been to several mines, and all the pumping apparatus and the bobs and everything like that are actually still in situ. There's an underground bob there, folks, which basically counteracts the weight of everything, you know. But I wouldn't be surprised in this shaft here, where we are right now, there's probably apparatus still actually in there, and you know, forgotten about. So yeah, we have done paranormal here. Didn't really get a lot, to be fair, but it is such a lovely engine house. I think the engine was called Taylor's, and the shaft is called John's, I think. I think we ought to find that out, haven't we? Let's go and find that out a minute. Is that correct? Or am I just talking out of my arse? It doesn't actually say, does it? Yeah, this is Taylor's pumping engine, but I think the shaft is called John's. But yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, folks. Right, so I want to talk about the tailings before we actually fly the drone up. So these are the tailings, these massive dugout kind of reservoirs. Originally, when this site was operational, it would have been filled up with water, and the idea basically is they would pump the water that came out of Wheel Jane stroke Magpie mine into this holding one here, and then they would leave it settle, and the idea is for all the minerals and waste to settle down, and then what they would do then is they slowly let the water out into the next one down below, and that's where most of the waste is today. And the bottom one down there, which we will go and fly about on soon, is where all the pollutant is now. And the thing is, if you go down there and stir the water up, it's like a red ochre colour, and it stinks, and it's just not very good at all. Right, so that's it really. Right, so we're further on now, folks, and we're going down to, I think it's called the KERNOW mine. Now this one worked a series of stamps, and where they processed the ore and crushed it down to a sand, and then that sand was transported to another site which is not far away, where they got shaking tables and buddles, which basically processed the ore down to a very fine calciferite, which is the raw mineral that you need for smelting. And in some cases, like copper and that, it would have been the raw elements would have been shipped over to South Wales, where there was plenty of coal, where they could roast it. Obviously, coal here in Cornwall is not a natural resource, and obviously you've got to pay a lot of money to import coal from back in steam days, back from South Wales or Wales, Cardiff area, which is a considerable amount of cost. And so a lot of the Cornish mines would actually send their copper ore from places like Portreath, which was an import of coal, Welsh steam coal, because it burns really hot, which is good for steam engines because you don't have to burn a lot of coal to get a lot of heat, basically. A lot of traction engines prefer Welsh steam coal, but because of the situation right now, it is very, very difficult to get hold of Welsh steam coal for various reasons, which I'm not really prepared to get into, because it's a hot subject, folks, and I can't really tell you my true opinion on that at the moment, so what I will do in time. Alright, so this pond has always been here ever since I can remember. I don't think it's original to this site. What I mean is, because if you look at the side of the engine house, which we'll get a bit closer to it at the moment because we're in a precarious position, but if you look to the side there, look, can you see there's like cement there and there? So that tells me that there was a boiler house connected to that at one time. So this has all been dug out. I don't know when that happened, but it's obviously a long time ago. So here is the engine, and it's quite a large engine really, because typically the size of cylinder in this one would have been used for like a pumping engine and so on and so forth. It looks like someone's been camping here. Left their detritus there. Oh, someone's had the metal lightning conductor away. Look, that was there a few years ago. Bugger me. People these days will nick anything if it ain't tied down. Right, so the reason I say this is possibly a stamps engine is because of this loading bay here, as you can see just below us here. So they would have had wheels there. So until we look in the archive, we're not going to know 100%, unfortunately, folks. But yeah, it does look like a stamps engine. Yeah, it's all good. Right, so we're going to go and fly above this now. I'm not sure if this bit will make it into the video because I fucked up a little bit there, but you know, only human. Anyway, see you in a bit, folks. Right folks, hope you enjoyed today's walkabout United Downs. We've got a nice walking video, plus we've got a nice bit of drone flight too, which we really had to work for today because we had to move around quite a bit. So we're just walking by that Cornish engine house here. I'll just quickly show you a minute. There we are. There's an engine house above me, look. You see that? Right, I hope you enjoyed our walk, and I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank all the new subscribers. It really means a lot. You're not going to be disappointed because we get around quite a bit. We know quite a bit of the history of Cornwall, and we are Cornish and we're local to this area, which is the most densely populated area in Cornwall, which is Camborne, Poole and Redruth. And I have local connections, family ties that go back 200-300 years, mining and so on and so forth. So yeah, you're not going to be disappointed. Now where we are here right now, this is called United Downs, and this was a vast mining area, folks, as I said earlier, and this is our history. And the local saying is, wherever there's a hole in the world, you will find descendants of a Cornishman at the bottom, and that is so true. Anyway, that's today's video. We've got a bit of a backlog now, thanks to David, so that's really good. We might be out with the crew tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure yet. We need to wait for confirmation on that one. But that, if it does happen, will be quite a trek, and it will be a proper urbex. Anyway, from himself down at United Downs, I bid you farewell. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you real soon. Now, if it doesn't happen tomorrow, then tomorrow I'm going to go off and do some more exploring, folks, somewhere else. Anyway, we'll be back. See you later. Cheers.